And what I try and do in this, that was a little kind of backwards look, but a backwards look in order to look forward, is talk a little bit about what we appear to be heading into in the coming year. And the first thing I do always talk about funding and our finances and what the next year looks like. And our board, certainly, were quite concerned, as was I, about what this year and even next year might look like. Last year wasn't too bad, but government was throwing out a lot of money, certainly in terms of capital projects. And you see what's happening in the rest of the world, in Europe and Greece and England and elsewhere. Governments everywhere, including Canada and Ontario, getting themselves into systemic deficits, which they must correct and get out of. So our board was saying, if you think the recession is bad, just wait until government has to get out of these deficits. Because the public sector, we didn't suffer any layoffs at all at Fanshawe College or in the public sector during a recession. We never do. When we do, if we do, or have to, it comes after, because that's when the government has to cut back. And you see what the new Prime Minister of England in today's paper, they have a coalition, and their first thing is they got to cut 6 or 8 billion out of their expenditures immediately, or the country's going to end up in bankruptcy. So that was the concern. However, our board was very prudent, and I have good news in that regard, in that we received last year $3 million of one-time only money the government gave us. And usually we would take, and we get that kind of thing from time to time, usually we would spend that on equipment or capital things. You can't spend it on operating because it's one-time only. But our board suggested don't do that at all. In fact, save half of it for this year and half of it for next year. And that's what we did. So we have $1.5 million, and in fact, our budget that was just approved by our board is technically a deficit budget of $1.5 million because we used that was carried forward. And that's why we didn't end up with a severe problem this year. It was a difficult budget, but not a severe one, and once again, no real layoffs at all coming out of that budget. And we've got that same cushion for next year. Well, the good news is, despite this recession, despite government cutbacks, this government has been more friendly to education and certainly post-secondary education than any other. And they are funding growth. If we grow our student body, we will get money for that. They're not funding continued existence, not providing for salary increases or anything, but any new students over and above last year, we will receive additional money for that. But they gave another, I think, just over $3 million of one-time only money.